welcome everyone. It is my great pleasure to be here to talk to you about the Department of Economics. My name is Claudia Rei. I'm Deputy Head of Department for Teaching and Learning. And so for the next 20 or so minutes, I'll be talking to you about the teaching in the Department of Economics here at Warwick. Then we're going to have my colleague Atisha talking about career support, and my colleague Jennifer Smith talking about a little bit of a research in macroeconomics. That's the plan for the next hour. So before we start, I must say that there's an ongoing demonstration on campus regarding the Palestine cause. This session may be interrupted, so if it does get interrupted, I must say that this university protects freedom of speech, and I urge everyone to be respectful of the views of others, even if they don't coincide with yours, or they may not coincide with yours. So with this disclaimer, let's talk about economics teaching at Warwick. So we focus on delivering outstanding teaching, making a difference in sending students on the job market with the knowledge of economics that we teach here, delivering in exposing our students to innovative research, because we are a research-led department, and I'm going to talk about that in a little while, and also building a diverse and inclusive community in which everyone, staffs and students, can reach their full potential. Our student body is very international. About 50% of students come from the UK, and the rest comes from all over the world. The breakdown for staff, and especially for academic staff, is a little bit more lopsided. In case you haven't noticed, I do speak with an accent. I do come from Portugal, but about 82% of my colleagues do have an international background. 18% of the academic faculty does come from the UK. Where do we stand in terms of our competitor institutions? We are, these are various rankings in which economics departments in the UK are ranked against. So we rank first in the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide for 2024. We rank second in the most research excellence framework, the REF 2021. That means that our research that we produce is having the second most impact throughout the field. We also rank fourth in the Complete University Guide in 2024, and in terms of world rankings, we are ranked 23rd across all the economic departments in the world. We offer our students a range of optional modules, so surely, and I'm going to be showing exactly what the modules are in the first, second, and third years for course, but for options, we allow our students to have sort of a tailored experience into the areas that they like the most. So for instance, students that are interested in economic policy in the EU, they can take a module specifically on that area, but also international trade, labor economics, making of economic policy, and other areas. And we have recently added one module in data science for economists, a very a module that gathers a lot of interest these days. You, of course, can look at all the our optional modules available for our students at the undergraduate level if you scan this QR code. More than just teaching our students about economics, we also view our students, and we want to expose our students to research, the research that is done in economics at present time. So students have a lot of opportunity to get involved in research, either through, for instance, the very first module that is there, Research in Applied Economics, which is a dissertation module in their final year, where students basically apply the tools that they've learned about in the first and in the second year, and actually use those tools to analyze questions that they don't understand, and that allow them to produce some research of their own. So this is at the last stage, say, of the degree here at Warwick. But throughout, students have other opportunities to engage in research. For instance, the undergraduate research support scheme, this is actually something that is done throughout the summer. And students that have a specific idea that they want to investigate work with a faculty member that works as an advisor providing guidance, and they can work on that research question on their own. There's also the Warwick internship scheme for economists, which is slightly different. They are still working in research, but the idea there is that they are contributing to somebody else's project. So a faculty member that has an ongoing project, research project that is, that needs research assistance, they hire research assistants through this scheme, and students apply, and the faculty, basically students are the supply and the faculty is the demand for this type of research engagement. The faculty research scheme and the graduate conferences, so our students regularly present their undergraduate work in international conferences. This happens every year. So now a little bit about our programs and what it is to be studying here at Warwick. So we have, in the economics department, managed by us, we have at the moment 2 undergraduate programs. That's the BSc in economics, straight economics program, and the BSc BA in economics, politics, and international students, international studies, EPACE. Both of these degrees are managed by economics. In 2025-26, which is probably the year that you are applying for entering at Warwick, we will also have a new degree program that is going to be the BSc in Economics and Management, also managed by our department in economics. In addition to these 3 programs, we have a variety of joint degree programs in which economics is part of a degree that is managed by other departments in the university. So we have partnerships with the, say, the mathematics, that's the bottom one, the mathematics departments. So what Morse and M Morse mean, and let's see if I remember this, mathematics, operational research, statistics and economics, and M Morse, management, mathematics, operational research, statistics, and economics. So that's in a partnership with the mathematics department. But we have partnerships with the philosophy, politics department, so that's our PPE, maths and economics, liberal arts, modern languages and economics. So there's basically a variety of degrees, joint degrees, that students may take, and that have a piece of economics, sometimes half, sometimes a little bit more, allowing students, again, to tailor their undergraduate degree to their own interests. Okay, so for our straight economics program, the BSc in economics, this is the structure that students have in the 3 years that they are here at Warwick. So in the first year, they have a full year, a full module in macroeconomics, so that's macroeconomics 1, and another one in microeconomics. Another one in quantitative techniques, half of it is mathematics, half of it is statistics, and the module that I myself teach for first year undergraduate students in the BSc program, the world economy, history, and theory. And why do we have a requirement in economic history that every student needs to take if they are in our BSc in economics? Because yes, we want our students to be very good technically with all the technical tools, mathematics, statistics, and so on, that an economist needs, but we also want our students to have a notion of the reality around them and how the world has arrived to where it is in terms of economic development and the gaps that exist today and that existed historically and how they evolved. So that's why we have these 4 core modules, basically one-year modules, term 1 and term 2, in the first year. In addition to these 4, students in the first year may also pick up to 2 optional modules, either within the economics department or modules outside of the economics department. A lot of our students pick up modules in the business school, for instance, or in the computer science department, or in modern languages. So again, there's a little bit of variety that students may choose from. In the second year, it's basically a continuation of the first year in terms of the core modules. Again, students deepen their understanding in macroeconomics, microeconomics, and econometrics. So that's a continuation of the quantitative module that you have there in the first year. And then they pick up a variety of optional modules as well. And finally, in the last year, the only core modules that students may take are either the research in applied economics, so that's the dissertation module that I mentioned, or the research methods in economics that is also tailored to research, but it's a module that takes one term only, and it's basically allowing students to get a feel of the literature in a given area of interest. And then, of course, a variety of optional modules as well, from which students can choose from. Every year, we take about 365 to 400 students in this program, the straight BSc in economics. For the ePace program, the structure is similar, but you will see the differences that I'm going to mention to you right now. So in the first year, rather than having a full year of microeconomics and the full year of macroeconomics, they have a single full year of economics, which is half micro and half macro. Okay? Then they have quantitative techniques, the same as our BSc in economics, and then they have the other half of the program, which is from the politics side. So the introduction to politics and world politics, and again, optional modules. In the second year, this is common for all students entering ePace in the first year. In the second year, they can choose. They still need to take economics and politics modules, but they can choose a pathway, more on the economics side or more on the politics side. Okay, so again, for the economics side, it's economics 2, econometrics or applied econometrics, so similar on the quantitative side, and then a politics module from a variety of modules. And finally, in the third year, they and in the third year, this is for the ones who do the international studies pathway. So you see, basically, the degree allows a little bit more flexibility after the year that you enter. And in the third year, so that's the right slide, in the third year, you actually have, in the economics pathway, this more economics-y side of the program, or in the politics pathway, more politics. And then, of course, there's the bipartite. You basically take half and half. Approximately 46 to 50 students enter this program every year. The new program that is only going to be implemented in 25-26, this is the BSc in Economics and Management, takes a similar structure to that of the ePace program on the core economics modules in the first year. So again, Economics 1 and quantitative techniques. And then there's a variety of WBS modules, because again, here the joint degree part is joint with WBS, Warwick Business School. And so that's foundations in finance, financial management, management organization, and so on. In the second year, again, the structure of the economics program is the same. So economics 2 and econometrics 1, and a variety of WBS modules. And in the final year, the core module would be topics explored in economics and management, and the variety of modules. So basically, in every degree program, the third year is the one where students have the more options to choose from and to sort of tailor that degree to their interests. The target enrollment here would be about 70 students for that first year. Okay, so now that we have a clear sense of the programs that we offer, let me tell you a little bit about what we offer in those programs. So clearly, this is a research-led department, and our teaching is informed by the research that we do. Okay, so there's a combination of lectures in a large auditorium with 500 students for the large ones, and small classes where these, say, large class of 500 students is broken down in groups of 15 to 20 students. And in those small classes, basically, we catch up or we apply the notions that we've been learning in the lectures. Okay, that's more or less how the structure of the teaching happens here. So class size, exactly. So these small classes, these lectures happen on a weekly basis. Each term has 10 weeks. So every week there will be 2 hours of lectures in any module. And the small classes can either be 1 hour per week or 1 hour every 2 weeks. Right? So that's for any program, any module, that's the structure of our teaching. Types of assessments, they are varied. So we are no longer in a situation where everything is assessed by final examination at the end. Some modules do have a final examination at the end, but the weight of that final examination varies accordingly. So for instance, in my own module, I have a final examination at the end, which is worth 50%. I have 2 assignments, each worth, at the end of each term, each worth 20%. And then I have class participation, which is worth 10%. The idea here is that each of these assignments is giving students a different skill. So there are some skills that are super important that students deliver in a 2-hour closed book exam and answer these questions from this test to assess knowledge. And there are other skills, for instance, speaking in public, which are not delivered by a test in a closed book exam. Right? So perhaps, and this is what I always tell my students, we have different levels of shyness. But trying to speak in front of 20 people that are exactly like you, that just arrived Warwick, and are probably at the same level of knowledge as you are, it's probably easier than speaking in front of 700 people at Butterworth Hall when they come and visit Warwick and try to decide if they want to study here. So these are skills that we develop, and we start developing them very early on. Okay? But other than that, there may be class presentations, there may be class tests, there's of course essays, and research projects. So basically there's a variety of assessments within our degree. This is just an example, right? So some modules may have, say, 20% coursework and 80% final exam. Study abroad. So our degree also allows for students to take 1 year to study abroad. If they do so, that would be in their 3rd year. So they do 1st year, 2nd year, 3rd year they go abroad to an institution. We have several partnerships with various institutions. And then they return to Warwick for their final year of their degree. For that, they need to qualify. So they need to apply, and they need to apply and have an average of 68% or above across the 1st and 2nd year modules. And why do we have that? Because it's in nobody's best interest that a student struggles, not here and certainly not abroad. Okay, so that's the idea here. They have to hold a language level on a Warwick language scale, and they have to have a reference from their personal tutor. So a lot of our students do take this option, and that just means that their BSc in economics would be BSc in economics with a year abroad. But basically, it's a degree all the same. These are some of the institutions with which we have partnerships, and every year we send students here. So most of them are in Europe, as you can see, but we also have partnerships, a partnership with Monash University in Melbourne, Australia. And so every year students do go to these institutions, and they do enjoy the type of teaching that is done there. And usually what we recommend is that students take modules that they cannot take here, right? So that they take full advantage of what is being offered in those other institutions. For the BSc in Economics and Management, there will be an option, and I repeat, this is an option to do a work placement year. Again, if students take this option, this would be in their 3rd year, and they will return on their 4th year to finish their degree. Okay? These, because we don't do this in economics, but WBS does quite a bit of this in their degrees, this part will be managed by WBS. Okay? But basically, the idea is to get students in touch with the labor market before they finish their degree and help students with their network of contacts, basically. Okay, so what type of academic support do we have for our students? We have quite a bit. We know that students come to study, at Warwick, and that university, the learning at the university happens in a very different context of the learning that you have in high school. Okay, so there's an adaptation process that is natural, but we have means in place to help students through that adaptation period. So for instance, before the arrival of students on campus, we have maths and writing revisions online. So we have a resources portal for our students even before arrival. We have maths and stats drop-in sessions throughout their first year so that they come and ask any questions should they need any additional support. There are advice and feedback hours, and this is something that many students don't realize that it's there for them. So every faculty member in the economics department, but also I suppose elsewhere, does teach, spends some time in front of students in the classroom, but they have 2 hours a week that they are in their office, those hours are announced, and any student can come and ask questions, either in the material that I taught in lecture and perhaps was not as clear, or asking questions about advice. I'm thinking of applying to master's programs, I'm thinking of this and this, what do you think? This is the type of support that we provide to students, and every faculty member has these 2 hours a week. There's also the pastoral support and drop-in sessions, and this is quite important. So this is a team that we have in place and that deals with students that may need some additional support. Why? Managing your time is perhaps not your strongest skill. God forbid something happened in the family. We are here to help. We are here to, in the event that there's in fact need, we can extend deadlines. We can provide the support that you need to deal with whatever situations you are dealing at the moment. So there's a variety of elements to support students. Let me just mention the RAE help desk. So this is for the dissertation module at the last year. A lot of students do struggle with the implementation of the project. So they have very good ideas. They end up getting very nice data, but then the data analysis part is a little bit difficult because it involves software programs that they may not be as familiar. And again, there is an RAE help desk, Research in Applied Economics. That's what that means, to precisely help students with that hurdle. Exam advice sessions, library support, and so on. All of these that are listed here are listed for you. They are here to help students with their degree and progressing throughout the 3 years that they are here. Now, student societies. There's many more than we can put in a slide. So these are just a few examples. Let me pick on the first one, the Warwick Economics Society. They organize a conference, and this is I believe, the largest student-led event in the UK that is organized solely by students. So every year, I think it happens around February or so, early February, and every year students are, they have a huge network of contacts, and they bring people from Nobel Prizes to former presidents of the EU Commission and so on, with the lens of economics, that come and speak. It's a full 2-day conference, and they come to speak to our students. So this is, all the societies are very active on campus. Thank you. Okay, so diversity. We are a diverse community, as I mentioned, in terms of the origins of our students or of our faculty. But we also, we have community values. We care for the well-being of our students. We support organizations such as Women in Economics, so we do the best we can to support our students and to increase diversity within our department. Now, for the final stretch of my presentation, and then we move to careers, a little bit of admissions and entry requirements, because that's probably where most of the questions are. All our programs are very competitive. Okay? Every year we receive many applications. We make about 150 offers to UK students and about 1,500 offers to overseas students, of which we typically admit 230 UK students and 200 international students. So that's, very competitive. A successful application should be successful in all of these areas, not just your predicted grades and current grades, but also your past academic record, how well you do in these tests in mathematics for university admissions, and this is something we are implementing this year, and the reference from the school. So each year we turn down students that make all of these conditions because we are more than we can take. And so we need to make some selection. The entry requirements are here for our the three programs that we manage. And please note that the very last column is a program that is entering in functioning in 25-26. So for the BSc in economics, it's A star, A star, A, with one of those A's in mathematics. For the EPAs, it's also A star, A star, A, with one of those A's in mathematics or grade 8 in GCSE in mathematics. And finally, the BSc in economics and management with A star, AA, including A in mathematics. So in terms of, all of them are competitive, but in terms of the most competitive, it goes from left to right. Most competitive on the left, slightly less in the middle, slightly less at the end. So for the test in mathematics for university admissions, we are implementing this criteria for the 2025 entry year and onwards. And this is basically where students, it's a standardized test that tests mathematics abilities from students. Why? Our program is very technical. So the best prepared you are in terms of mathematics, the better you will fare in the program. And so these test scores will be set once and sent to universities once the results have been received. The entry fee for these are £75 in the UK, 130 elsewhere. There's a bursary voucher for UK candidates in financial need, and all applicants will be required to take this test, and we are unlikely to consider any applications that don't have it. Again, you can find all details about this if you do that QR code. And that's it from me. I hope this session was informative, and we're now going to hear about careers. Thank you very much.